Okay, the guy you see next to me is the most generous billionaire in the world, and I found him.
The most generous billionaire ever, where you can get 10% off on your trading fees.
Fees are bad. Fees are very bad. But FTX, there are no fees whatsoever.
And if you sign up with our link,
Signing up using my link.
There are referral links. If you use my link below and the code name Tom Nash.
Oh, stop it, please. You guys are embarrassing yourselves. Listen, what a week it has been for financial influencers. Their reputations have just been going down the toilet. People who promoted absolute garbage companies like FTX US and BlockFi for millions of dollars, today we're finally seeing the results, as both of those companies are basically bankrupt. And so today I'm calling out all the influencers who promoted it, some of whom I know, and I'm getting third wave embarrassment from it. You know, I know it's mind-bendingly stupid to imagine that people actually listen to YouTubers for financial advice, but we all know they do. That's why they get offered these insane financial deals. And these people had a responsibility to their fans, and they blew it. So I want to talk about it because it's a pretty big scandal, and it involves a lot of people I know. Some of them I've even done collabs with. And just honestly, it's crazy how many of the biggest financial channels took deals promoting this garbage. And honestly, none of y'all are getting off the hook today. It's smoke for all of y'all. If you do the crime, you get the screen time. I don't care who you are. So I kind of showed a bit of it at the beginning of this video, but it was incredible to me as I looked through the archives, just how many people got bought out by FTX US. And let's face facts. The biggest reason for that is money. I asked around, the sponsorship deals were absurd. I know a guy, much smaller channel than me, making $500,000 a year, $50K a month, just to promote FTX US. So I know the bigger guys were getting much more. Some of them probably deals were in the millions. So obviously that's a big reason. A lot of them did it, but I don't think that's the only reason, because I think that'd be honestly too easy to say, oh, they were just greedy, that's why they did this. I actually think it's worse than that. I talked to a lot of these guys and they were fooled. That's the scariest part. So many of these experts who are giving you guys advice totally bought into this Sam character as this genius billionaire, right? The most generous billionaire in the world, who also happened to be paying them handsomely, of course. And I just think it shows how bad the discernment is out there making videos on how to invest. It's alarming how many people fell for this guy's ruse. And it's alarming how easy it was to convince them. Some of these guys believed in Sam because he drives a beat-up car.
Sam doesn't need the money to buy a Lamborghini or to buy a Rolex or to impress his friends. In fact, his car is a Toyota Corolla.
You trust the guy more when you see the car he drives. He's worth like $20 billion or something, and he drives this kind. I don't want to call it beat up. It's like it's an older Toyota. He doesn't even have window tints on the completely stock Toyota.
What does that have to do with anything? What does window tint have to do with Sam's qualifications as an investor? I mean, look, it's now coming out, guys, that at Alameda Research, they were just kind of embarrassingly incompetent. And the evidence was always there, but nobody who was selling FTX bothered to take notice. Apparently, they were too busy looking at the window tint. Here's the CEO of Alameda, for example, saying she hardly uses math at her job.
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of elementary school math.
It's just beyond belief. I don't want to pretend like I'm some Nostradamus who saw all this coming and nobody else did, right? I did call out FTX 24 hours before it shut down. I did call FTX US out well before, 72 hours before it shut down. But I wasn't here with my crystal ball forecasting all of this years in advance. But that's the reason I didn't promote this. I get the same offers as everyone else, but there's no way I'm going to risk my audience, you guys, in a game of crypto among us. Will this guy turn out to be a psycho in a year or two? Let's find out. No, I'm not going to do that. And it's not because I'm better than anyone. It's just because I know that even though I know a little bit about crypto, I don't know enough to know for sure whether these companies are going to be around. And that's the crazy thing, is I think of everyone we're talking about today, I probably know the most. I probably have the biggest claim to crypto expert, and I would never feel comfortable saying that because there's just no way you know. And so I think it exposes a big gaping flaw in this influencer world where it's not just the greed, it's just this systemic failure of people to recognize their own lack of expertise. And it's so easy for charismatic, geniuses to convince these people based on basically no evidence. Take, for instance, meet Kevin's seal of approval.
The guy's brilliant. He talks very fast, but he's brilliant, and I trust him and I like him.
Yeah.
Really? You know, I talk really fast. My brilliance is definitely up for debate, but do you trust me with all your money? Because you shouldn't. So it's just abysmal. And now that this has all come out, some of these guys are now coming out and apologizing, as they should. But is it enough? Because people like Graham Stephan now has made a video about it. Basically, he said 24 hours before FTX US went bust, like, hey, maybe you should get your money off.
FTX US has been a sponsor here on the channel for the majority of the year. This one I did not see coming. I think it's pretty safe to say as a result of that, I'm no longer working with them. So if you hold anything on FTX US, you could still take it out and transfer it to an external wallet or wherever else you please.
But how many people saw this compared to almost a year of ads? Or take Tom Nash, someone who's appeared on this channel. You know, he took a different approach and basically said no one signed up under him.
I think that you all deserve me to talk about FTX. I was working with them a few months ago for about 30 days. Somehow, during this whole month we were running the campaign, literally nobody signed up for FTX US. They called me and I was insulted in the beginning. And they said, look, Tom, we got to cut it short because we had like a 3-month plan to work together. And they said, look, we're stopping after 1 month because nobody's signing up from your channel.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that. At minimum, these are bad arguments, like no one signed up for me, or hey, I gave you 24 hours notice. Like, it's just such an embarrassing standard for this industry, if you can even call it that, because it's just a bunch of basically random people giving their opinion about finance. And truthfully, I just think it's a big lesson, another lesson, the millionth lesson, that you shouldn't be actually taking real advice from the people who you watch on these screens. They're entertainers and they don't know much more than you about what they're actually selling. Now, I will say one small thing in their defense, a lot of smart people did get fooled. BlackRock was an investor. And for you millennials, even Kevin O'Leary got caught with his pants down.
Number one, I'm an investor in FTX International equity. Number two, I'm an investor in FTX US equity. Number three, I have accounts with FTX. I have capital there inside of my account. Obviously, like everybody else, I'm gated currently.
Yikes. I guess it just shows how bad the advice out there was and how many people, so many of these financial experts, were fooled and then made fools of themselves by promoting this junk. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is a company called BlockFi, which paused withdrawals yesterday. It looks like they're also going to be bankrupt. And I just want to talk about the influencers who promoted them as well. Here's a few clips of what I'm talking about.
I have never taken on a paid sponsorship on my channel. Please use my link to sign up to this credit card. And even though I'm not contractually obligated to speak positively about them, don't forget to grab up to $250 worth of free Bitcoin using this BlockFi link right here. It would really help me out a lot.
We didn't touch on this at all, but the thing I'm most excited about for this year is the Bitcoin rewards credit card, which we're launching in the second.
Now, this is just a lot more of the same junk. And once again, I mean, I would say this even more so. We have evidence that these people were just bad at predicting this stuff. They just had no idea what was going on. Because Andre Jick, for instance, said he keeps all his money on BlockFi, which just went under.
I keep most of my money, in fact, all of my crypto with BlockFi, both my Ethereum, my Bitcoin, everything.
Rip to your portfolio, my man. Now, I also want to say, meet Kevin, I think personally invested $420,000 into this platform, which cool number, I guess. So I think he also lost a ton of money on that. But I just think it's just a big lesson that you cannot take advice from these people. I know the parasocial relationship is there and you start to feel that maybe they know something, but a lot of them are Googling it like 5 minutes before they go live. Okay, that's the truth of it. And I just think a lot of these influencers themselves should take a hard look at themselves, because as much as it's ridiculous that anyone takes their advice, they actually do. And it's gonna hurt a lot of people for a long time. So that's basically it. I just wanted to talk about this because I think it's so important and it involves a lot of the people I think a lot of my viewers might watch some of these people. So yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video on that.